Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the rainy Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be your eyes were open, but you couldn't see. Think about that for a minute. Guys, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. You were in the relationship, a toxic, narcissistic relationship, a relationship that benefited one person, which was not you. It was certainly the narcissist for a period of time. When you were in that relationship, many times what you did is you did not trust your instincts, pay attention to your intuition, you ignored red flags. You were seeing things unfold in front of you in the relationship, all throughout the relationship, but your eyes were open, but you couldn't see them. You couldn't identify them. You were seeing strange behaviors. You were experiencing rage fits, which of course you were unaccustomed to. Like, an example, one day, this person who turned out to be the narcissist was a stable or healthier individual. And then out of the blue, boom, you were being blamed for something that you did or didn't do. And the scale went from a 0 to a 10. In other words, you weren't having a civil conversation. Boom, it was just an all-out rage fit. You were being screamed at, yelled at. Examples like that. Other things, your eyes were open, but you could not see. Gaslighting. This is a classic. I'm certain you experienced that. In other words, this individual had you doubting your sense of reality, whether it was the past, the present. They just didn't want you believing in your memory. They didn't want you to believe that your opinions, excuse me, your opinions or expressions or experiences were valid. So they would try to twist the narrative so you would begin to slowly and insidiously doubt your sense of reality. And the next thing you know, boom, they have you in the narcissistic fog. Other ways, your eyes were open, but you couldn't see. Blame shifting. You were communicating with this individual and trying to have, let's say, an adult conversation or a healthy conversation, a two-way conversation. And many times, whatever you were trying to discuss with this individual would be turned around on you, and you would be blamed. And the shift of the conversation, in other words, the narrative of the conversation would go from what you were trying to convey to them and the topic of discussion, and immediately, because they didn't want to address it, they would blame shift and switch the whole direction of the conversation onto something that perhaps you did 5-10 years ago. And they would give you word salad. They would confuse you. And at the end of the conversation, you found yourself, your head spinning, and you would be like, what was that? I didn't even get my point across. And we started talking about A, B, and C. We ended up speaking about X, Y, and Z. I wasn't heard. As a matter of fact, I was being blamed for something I didn't do, or this individual who turned out to be the narcissist was bringing up something that happened years ago, maybe even decades ago. Why? Because they don't want to be accountable. Other things, when your eyes were open but you couldn't see, all the groupies or the little bubbles of people that this individual had around them. Bear in mind, the narcissist is a shapeshifter. They're a chameleon. They are wearing a mask, and they like to hook up with, meaning connect with, and I mean make friends, things like that, with complete people that offer new supply. Individuals who are the next flavor of the month, the next new shiny thing. That's why the narcissists, they can't stay in stable, healthy, long-term relationships. That's why they have little bubbles of groups of people that they keep separated for when one of those little groups of people implodes, because somebody wised up and they got the education on the narcissistic abusive cycle, perhaps. Other things, when your eyes were open but you couldn't see. Triangulation. Yes, my least favorite thing that the narcissist does. Virtually all of the definitions and glossary terms are not positive attributes of the narcissist, but triangulation is my least favorite because it happens so slowly and insidiously, and it has you doubting yourself. And it is when an individual plays one individual against another individual. In other words, let's say you were married and you thought you were in a loving, stable, healthy relationship, but the person you married turned out to be a narcissist or a toxic individual. And what they would do is, many times after that ring was slipped on the individual's finger, they would begin to triangulate you. Maybe they even did it when you were in the love bomb stage. Point being is, they would come home and say things like, oh, so-and-so said I look great today. So-and-so said that I deserve this. So-and-so. And they would be pitting you against that other individual. And keep in mind, the other individual may or may not even exist. The point is, they were the narcissist. What they were trying to do was get you to work harder for the relationship, harder for the narcissist, to prove yourself, to explain yourself, to lose your sense of self, and to continue to give and give and give. And when you had nothing left to give, what did you do? I'm certain. That's right, you gave more. And the narcissist saw this. Remember, when you first met the narcissist, they tested you out. They did their homework on you. They learned about you, and they asked you a lot of questions about your past relationships, about your future, what you want to do, your financial resources, your social circle, your friends, your network, your dreams, your aspirations. And it seemed all like puppies and rainbows back then. It seemed like this person actually cared about you and they had your best interest at heart. They didn't, they don't, and they never will. What they wanted to do was figure out which angle to come at you from to extract your resources. And that's what they did. Until when? Until they didn't. Until either you got discarded or you ended the relationship. Point being, when your eyes were open but you couldn't see you were being triangulated. You had no idea what that term even meant. Why would an individual who perhaps you fell in love with, why would they try to throw another person in the mix? Because it doesn't make sense. But again, you didn't have the wisdom on the narcissistic abusive cycle. You didn't know there were people out there that wanted to manipulate you, that wanted to destroy you and take from you. That's the narcissist. That's what they want to do. They want you not living your best life. They want you to become an extension of themselves. They want you to be a shell of yourself. They want you staying in that narcissistic fog, the zombie-like state, the trance-like state where you don't know what is up or down, left or right, good or bad. You have no idea. What you do know is you're trying to get back to that little sliver of hope during the love bomb / euphoric stage. And of course, along the way, you will get little slivers of hope. And then boom, as soon as you put your guard down and you're comfortable and you think that, wow, okay, this person is back on track, then they'll rip it away from you again. Keep in mind, the narcissistic abusive relationship, it takes you very high and it drops you extremely low. And just when you thought you couldn't get lower, many times you do go lower. And over time, each and every narcissistic relationship, it dissipates, it deteriorates, it fades away over time. Why? Because again, the narcissist looks at you as a source of supply. They don't look at you as a beautiful human being. They look at you as an opportunity. And when you were in the relationship with this individual, they knew there was an expiration date on the relationship. They sincerely did. It was just contingent upon when you figured them out or whether they discarded you first, one of the two. Or the third option, of course, is you stay in this zombie-like trance state, the narcissistic fog, and that's just your existence. And many people are like that, unfortunately. But having said all these things, when your eyes were open but you couldn't see, there are so many glaring things looking back at the cell phones and the smartphones that were always more important than you were, looking back on how the narcissist couldn't sit still, looking back on when you were trying to watch a documentary or a movie, they would always act like they were interested and then they would be on one of the 3 smartphones right in front of you. What were they doing? Who knows? But most likely getting your replacement or another source of supply. Keep these things in mind. When your eyes were open but you couldn't see, it's because you believed in the mask. You believed in the false narrative of the narcissist and you put them high on the pedestal most likely. And you wanted things to work out. You sincerely did. And also keep this in mind. When you met the narcissist, were you in a vulnerable period of time? Perhaps were you exiting one relationship and all of a sudden they saw this and they sensed it and like, wow, I can get this one because they're very vulnerable. Perhaps that was the situation. Perhaps you were looking for love. Perhaps you were looking to strike up a friendship. Perhaps you were looking to start that business. Perhaps you were looking to just flat out relocate for a job and you moved in right next door to the narcissist. And what did? They had you over for barbecues. They got you close. They got to become close to you and your family. And next thing you know, they know too much information about you and boom, now they're weaponizing it against you. These layers of the onion must get peeled back over and over and over again. Thousands of times they can get peeled back. The point being, when you are out of the narcissistic relationship and your eyes are open and you can see, that's the path. That's the healing path. And keep in mind, we are all on the healing path headed in the same direction, simply taking different footsteps. Why I say that is because the further you get away from the toxic narcissistic relationship, the clearer things become. The more the rain and the fog dissipates and disappears, the more the sun comes out, the more the abundance surrounds you, the more the growth, the beauty, the energy returns to you. That is a fact. That's the healing path. Now, does it happen overnight? Absolutely not. Do you have to put a mountain of work into yourself? Yes, you do. Will there be highs and lows? 100%. Can anybody do this for you? No, you must do it yourself. Is there a magic pill? Or can I read a book? Or can I wave a magic wand and have this all go away immediately? No, you can't. This is a path. It's your path. You must do the inner work. You must process things. You must heal and take time. And in your time, you will get through this with dedication, devotion, commitment, resilience, strength, courage, fortitude, introspection, and accountability. Yes, many times people also ask me, how did I get in a narcissistic relationship? What happened? I'm such a good person. I have so much to offer. Well, I don't get it. What happened was, most likely, the narcissist saw this in you when perhaps you couldn't even see it in yourself. And again, they looked at you as an opportunity. They looked at you as a way to extract resources from. This is a big life lesson. It's a learning lesson that you must pass. You must proceed to place your energy into yourself, to heal, to learn, and to grow. That's the path. There was no other way. Because remember this, as I mentioned on the channel frequently, there's no such thing as a coincidence. The relationships that you've built up and that you've been a part of in your entire life, they couldn't have been any other way. If they were meant to be a different way, they would have been. That's a fact. So we must learn from these relationships. We must not allow them to happen in the future. We must have boundaries. We must not be a people pleaser. We must learn to say the strongest word in the English language, which is no. Remember, when you say no to something or someone, you're saying yes to yourself. So guys, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the rainy Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning. No matter where you are on the planet, you are not alone. Remember that. You are not alone. God bless you. Stay true. Stay strong. Continue to become awakened and aware. Continue to become educated and empowered. And understand that you are the priority. You come first, second, and third. Enjoy yourselves. I love you. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye, you guys.